Here on the OCU Athletics Update, we're talking to Delaware Resource Group Superstar Athlete of the Week, Dani Chase. Sophomore libero from Yukon, Oklahoma, currently ranks 5th in the conference in digs. And Dani, you settled in as the starting libero for this team. Talk about the team's performance so far this year.
We've done pretty well so far for being so young. We have a good group of supporting seniors who really help out, and we have a lot of talent that hopefully over the years we'll just keep getting better and we'll keep doing well. So we've done pretty well.
You transferred here to OCU this year from Southern Nazarene. Of course, Kyle Steele, the connection there. Talk about what led you here to OCU.
Well, Kyle was my club coach for 3 years in high school, and so I already knew him through that, and I really liked his coaching style. And he was actually the coach, the assistant coach at Southern Nazarene when I signed there. So whenever he left to come take this job, I decided to stay there for a year. And I really liked this school, but the coaching staff wasn't, they didn't fit well with me. They're good coaches, just not for me. So after season, I just asked him if I could come play here, and he said sure. So that's kind of how I came.
So for those people who are not aware of what the libero position entails in volleyball, talk about what that's like.
Well, you wear a different colored jersey, so that way they don't count you for subs, and you pretty much just go in and play in the back row only. You can't go to the front row, and you just kind of play defense, and you're just a defensive specialist, so that's what you do.
Tell us about the job that you have with your church.
I work at Canadian Hills Church of the Nazarene. I was an intern there last year through Southern Nazarene, and then over the summer they just kind of let me stay, and it's just been really fun. I work in the children's department, and I just kind of help out with whatever they need done from the kids like from 5 to 12, and I just get to hang out with them and just be an extra set of hands, so it's really cool.
And what's your major here at OCU?
I'm a nursing major, so well, hopefully I'll be a nursing major next semester.
So career goals following college are pretty obvious in that case.
Yeah, I want to travel, so I kind of just want to do nursing. That way I can do more like missionary work and travel more out of the United States than in the United States. So.
All right, great. We're talking to Delaware Resource Group Superstar Athlete of the Week, Dani Chase. You can follow the Stars volleyball team on OCUsports.com.
There's a call to be answered. The spirit of competition is still alive inside. The desire still drives. The phrase student athlete has a great ring to it. Lasting friendships are ready to be made. You just want to keep playing. Game on. Learn more at naia.org.
Here on the OCU Athletics Update, we're talking to wrestling coach Archie Randall. The Stars recently finished runner-up in the Cumberland Duels. And Coach, tell us about your team's performance in the Cumberland Duels.
We performed very well. You know, the first time out, you kind of wonder where everybody's at, how we're going to wrestle, et cetera, like that. And we have 12 freshmen. So, you know, the biggest, most exciting thing besides the performance of our varsity girls is that those freshmen were on one team together, and they finished in the top 8. Usually your freshman team or your second team is going to be in the other pool where they have a chance to wrestle kids their level and stuff like that. But they upset Missouri Baptist and University of Columbus B team to get in, and then they beat Missouri Baptist again to finish 7th, which is pretty amazing for them. The first group wrestled very, very well. Cody Fall went through everybody just like she usually does, but she beat the number 2 girl bad, 12-2. She dominated her in every position, which is critically important. Shelby Morrison didn't wrestle very well, you know, but it's early. Shelby's usually, she's a late starter and stuff like that. Becca Leathers, they bumped away from her to move the number 1 girl at 23 away from the wrestler Natalia Hino. And Natalia Hino just whipped the dog out of her. And then they put this girl at 30, Hannah Jewell, against Rachel Young, and Rachel Young pretty much dominated her too. As we got to the upper weights, there our 43 and 55 matchups weren't good. We got pinned at 55, which we weren't expecting. And so it came down to, and then we won at 70. Tat Vasquez, who's been off the mat for 2 years because of knee surgeries. Outstanding performance by her. She beat a returning All-American 6-2 with a questionable call. We put Jackie Quiones out there at heavyweight, and it's tough to put a freshman out at heavyweight and tell her she has to pin to win. She usually beats this girl. She beat her in high school, etc. like that, but she's just not used to this type of pressure yet. But we feel in the future we're fine. But as far as repeat performance against King, we got their number. We got their number this year, so we're really excited about it. We did beat number 2 Campbellsville in the quarters, which is we kind of upset the number 2 team in the quarters and stuff. But King's a team to beat again.
You've mentioned several of your returners who are on the team this year. Tell us about this team's nucleus.
Our nucleus right now is we only have 2 seniors on the team. It's very, very young. It's a junior squad, but they've been together for 3 years now. They've wrestled international. They've done everything they're supposed to do to be successful. They're wrestling unbelievable. Carla Ponce, who's a returning All-American, she had a match against a Missouri Bap girl, and it looked like a technique session. She teched the girl within a couple of minutes. I think our biggest attribute is that our young girls are good. They push our older girls. Our older girls have to work hard at practice to keep their spots, which is important. That's the way wrestling is. It's like a survival of the fittest.
The Women's College Wrestling Association Championships are going to be at Abe Lemons Arena February 11th through the 13th. Talk about what it's going to be like to wrestle that event in your home gym.
It's always an advantage to wrestle at home. The girls are all fired up, but their parents are fired up about it. The fans are fired up about it. And I think our performance is going to be stellar at that time. Whenever you wrestle at home, you're going to wrestle better. And why not win the national title at home? It's about time to knock off all those. We've been losing the title for the last couple of years by 1 and 2 points. It's time for us to keep that 2 points and win the title at home. We're pretty excited about it.
One of your alums, Emily Webster, recently was honored by the Wrestling Hall of Fame in Missouri. Talk about that honor.
I think that's a tribute to her and to women's wrestling. You have to think about it. Wrestling's really kind of like a man's world, right? And to have the opportunity for one of your athletes and a woman become a member of a state's Hall of Fame, that's great. And, we're real proud of her. She's still a great kid, and she's still thinking about maybe coming back and wrestling at the Olympic level. And, meanwhile, she's trying to get her master's in chemistry. She never stops. But she's an incredible kid. Incredible. She'll be here this weekend for the Cliff King duels. She's organized an alumni deal for all the alumni to come back and watch the duels, so it'll be pretty interesting.
You coached Team USA to a 6th place finish in the Junior World Championships this past August. Tell us about what it was like coaching an international competition and how the team performed.
Well, I've coached a lot international. I've been out of the country probably about 15, 20 times on teams, but the team that I took over there, which was important to us, is that 4 of the girls on the team were OCU girls. Rachel Waters is already committed to us from Iowa, which will be here next year. But the other 3 girls on there, Cody Fowl, Marissa Beretta, and Becca Leathers, they're outstanding athletes. It was a great tournament, but we lost 3 semifinal matches to the Japanese. All 3 of them OCU girls, all 3 of them lost the semifinals to the Japanese girls. So, we've got to figure out a way to get more competition against the Japanese to beat them. Fortunate for us, only one of those girls won't be on the team next year, Cody. She's too old. But 3 of them are going to be returners, and plus we feel we're going to have 2 more on there too. So our team now, the girls that have graduated, we have 2 girls at the senior level that are competing. We've got girls in the junior level that are competing. We have girls at the cadet level that are competing. They're going to come here. So internationally, you're going to see OCU out a lot. We're going to have teams. We're going to have athletes on all the different teams.
Switching over to your men's team, you have Ricky McCarty coming off a national championship last year. Tell us what went into his performance in the championship.
Ricky McCarty's performance at the national championship was all or none. His goal was to be a national champion. He wrestled every match as hard as he could wrestle. He did whatever he had to do in that competition to succeed to go to the next match. And that basically gave him a national championship. Now, his confidence level is really high right now. He's real confident that he's going to repeat, and we think he is too. He looks good in the room, as well as Zach looks good in the room, and Gaines looks good in the room, and Derek Severson looks good in the room, and Cody Severson looks good in the room. Parker Bohama looks good in the room. James Laundo looks good in the room. Our two heavyweights are pretty awesome. The men's team is probably the best team we've ever fielded. It's probably the best team we've fielded. We feel confident that we're hosting regionals. We feel confident that we'll put 12 through to the national tournament. And we're figuring possibly 9 All-Americans this year and a couple of champions. So the men's team looks really good.
Sounds like you have pretty high expectations for them. Another tournament you're going to be hosting is the NAI Central Qualifying Group on February 20th.
Yes.
Tell us about hosting that. What's the importance of that
The
tournament?
importance of that tournament is because of the new way that the NAI has regionalized, I guess you'd want to call it, qualifiers. There are 6 regions, 8 teams in the regions. Only 3 qualify out of each weight class, and then there's only 5 at-larges for the whole tournament, which is different. It used to be 4, and we'd had 4 and 12. So your team's got to be a little bit, tougher now. It's tougher to get out, and it's tougher to get into the national tournament. We did increase the number of at-large members going to the national tournament, but those are picked nationally now. So it's going to be picked out of every single region. There's 6 regions now. And like I told you, we feel confident we're going to get 12 out of ours. And it's done by, the regions are organized by conferences. So our 3 Sooner Athletic Conference teams will be in this conference with a Kansas conference. So they put us together with them, which we feel real confident we're going to do well there. We feel confident we're going to do well. The guys' team is pretty tough. Girls' team is pretty tough. Our goal this year is to win them both.
All right, Coach, thanks very much. Talking to wrestling coach Archie Randall. You can follow the Stars on OCUsports.com.